The thrill of the 2020 chase, how batting second is becoming ever popular. The thrill of the 2020 chase, how batting second is becoming ever popular. Analysis: the thrill of the chase, is it all it's cracked up to be? Well, as far as 2020 cricket goes, that will be a yes, as captains far and wide move towards the desire of batting second in the shortest form of the game. Perhaps not as much a thrill as a slight tactical maneuver, certainly the option of chasing has seemed much more in vogue, and the statistics back up that feeling that teams now like to have a target in their sights as they blast the ball round the park. From a time when the toss probably seemed mostly redundant in a game which itself can often be likened to the flip of a coin too, it can now be seen as a massive psychological boost for a team. T20 is now well over a decade old, but, despite wickets not deteriorating across a 40-over period, it's becoming more difficult to tell what a good score is anymore, as 200-plus totals and individual centuries come increasingly frequently, among ever-inventive stroke play. It seemed not long ago the idea was to bat first and go large, with a bulky score sure to blow a chasing side out of the contest early, but now the mind boggles at what is possible, with the polished ability to break down and manage a chase, making nothing seem impossible for a batting second unit. As the T20 tri-series between the Black Caps, Australia and England roars along, it will indeed be interesting to keep an eye on the approach of the teams at toss time. Already, 2 games in, Aussie captain David Warner has opted to field first both times, and on each occasion has walked away on the victorious side. Those games have contributed to the overall T20 international bat-first statistics now dropping below 50%, after 645 games. In context, ODIs are at 52%, and Tests are the 73%. The stats show that while the first 50 of those T20s played had a slight favour of teams opting to field first 54%, it has now risen to 68% over the most recent 50, up until that second match of the tri-series. And it's not even the internationals where the big changes are noticed most, with Australia's Big Bash League and the Indian Premier League having decisive shifts in the field-first mentality, while New Zealand's Super Smash is an interesting outlier of those domestic tournaments looked at. Big Bash League Australia. The inaugural season of the engaging competition across the Tasman saw the stunning stat of just 3 field-first choices at the toss out of 31 games, 9.68%. And more than a third of the time those teams batting first won. The following year fielding first rose to 45.71%, with a win rate for those chasing of 62.50%, before last summer the field first mentality went full on, at 80%. And the 7 teams who did opt to bat first all lost. This just completed season saw fielding first again popular, at 77%, though interestingly enough, the team who eventually won the competition, the Adelaide Strikers, actually opted to bat first on all 6 occasions they won the toss, and indeed walked away winners every time. The first season of the Glitz and Glamour show in 2008 had fielding first at 55.17%, dropping the following year to 38%. Now, in the past 2 years, the chasing thing has caught on big time, over 80% each year, and with win rates on balance being in favour of those sides batting second. The heat in the day, night games in India is one reason teams could look to bat first, but it now doesn't seem as much of an issue, with players much better acclimatized now. New Zealand's domestic competition is an interesting outlier, bucking the trend, as batting first remains reasonably popular. It wasn't a big sample size for its first year, with just 7 games, but the 5 times sides fielded first they won. The next season it was a 50% stalemate for batting and bowling first, across 16 games, but the last 2 campaigns have been a bat-first majority. In 2016-17 fielding first was just 31.25%, and remarkably only one of the 10 teams who opted to chase ended up winning. Perhaps that put sides off doing so for this recently completed campaign, with fielding first at 41.38%. One explainer for the difference from the other competitions too is the fact that the majority of the New Zealand domestic games are played during the day, and there isn't the dew factor that comes at night, which can not only make it hard for bowlers to grip the ball, but also see it skid on and help batsmen stroke play, also negating spinners' turn. Batting first has that unknown of what will be a good score. It requires a quick weighing up of conditions, and that can be the downfall of a team, when they look for too many than they actually need. Black Caps captain Kane Williamson admitted after last Saturday's match against Australia in Sydney that 140 may have been good enough on that pitch, but that his side weren't able to rein in their approach. The other positive about fielding first is it generally means a team is able to stick to their bowling plans, obviously having to tweak things on the run, but not to the extreme that defending a middling target may require. Bowlers know they have to just get wickets or not go for many runs. But for batsmen, having a black and white target in front of them seems to make life much clearer for an approach to have at the crease. And no fear, is the modern mentality. They will back themselves to go out and get whatever is put in front of them, as they have seen their opposition do it right before their eyes. One man who has seen the evolution firsthand, both in a playing and coaching capacity, is former New Zealand international Gareth Hopkins, who led the Northern Knights to Super Smash glory this summer in his first stint as a specialist T20 coach. I think it's an attitude shift of the batters, who don't fear those higher run chasers, because they've trained it. They've trained all their hitting into gaps and moving around the crease and sweeps and reverse sweeps, he said. When 2020 first started we were coming off when 250 was a good score in 50-over cricket. All of a sudden we're in an environment now where 7, 8 and over's very easy to chase down. Guys have trained this situation so many times, that 10s, 11s, 12s, they don't fear that anymore. They don't even fear 15 and over off the last 3, they say yep, we can get that. They have a plan for that. So it's not as daunting chasing, as what it was 5 years ago. The Knights made chasing a forte late in the competition, which included mowing down 203 against the Auckland Aces with 6 wickets and 3.1 overs to spare, along with a resounding 9-wicket victory in the final against the Central Stags. The Stags made no secret of their liking of batting first during the competition, much like the Adelaide Strikers, and Hopkins suggested it often came down to what the balance of sides were like, with both those teams having bowlers on fire, so wanting to do their strongest suit last. It's your pressure one. If the game's in the balance, that's what you want to do coming in to win the game, he said. If your team gets on a roll doing one thing, you tend to stick to it. As a coach, you're loath to change the formula. I thought we had a fairly good balance across the board. Our strength was slightly in our batting, so we didn't worry too much whether we were chasing or we were setting. We were going to bat first in the final, just because it was a used wicket and we thought we could post close to 200 and bowl the opposition out. But they won the toss, they batted first and we weren't worried about that. So with that no worries mindset and the old adage of runs on the board and asking rate pressure are now so often hit for six, it's very much a case of the thrill of the chase, rather than playing hard to get. Chasing glory percentage of teams opting to field first in T20 internationals. First 50 games, 5,400 bat first, 23, 13 watts, 10 litres, equals 56. 52 win rate field first, 27, 17 watts, 10 litres, equals 62. 96. Last 50 games, 6,800 bat first, 16, 8 watts, 8 litres, equals 5,000 field first, 34, 16 watts, 17 litres, 1 Newton slasher, equals 4,706. (2011-12) First season, 9. 68 bat first, 28, 19 watts, 9 litres, equals 67. 86 field first, 3, 1 watt, 2 litres, equals 33. 33. 71 bat first, 19, 7 watts, 12 litres, equals 36. 84 field first, 16, 10 watts, 6 litres, equals 62. 50. (2016-17) 8,000 bat first, 7, 0 watts, 7 litres, equals 000 field first, 28, 16 watts, 12 litres, equals 57. 14. 77 bat first, 13, 10 watts, 3 litres, equals 76. 92 field first, 30, 19 watts, 11 litres, equals 63. 33. (2008) First season, 55. 17 bat first, 26, 8 watts, 18 litres, equals 30. 77 field first, 32, 16 watts, 16 litres, equals 5,000. 60 bat first, 35, 19 watts, 16 litres, equals 54. 29 field first, 22, 14 watts, 8 litres, equals 63. 64. (2016) 81. 67 bat first, 11, 2 watts, 9 litres, equals 18. 18 field first, 49, 32 watts, 17 litres, equals 65. 31. 36 bat first, 11, 6 watts, 5 litres, equals 54. 55 field first, 48, 28 watts, 20 litres, equals 58. 33. (2005-06) First season, 71. 43 bat first, 2, 0 watts, 2 litres, equals 000 field first, 5, 5 watts, 0 litres, equals 10,000. 2006-07, 5,000 bat first, 8, 5 watts, 2 liters, 1 Newton slasher, equals 62. 50 field first, 8, 4 watts, 4 liters, equals 5000. 25 bat first, 22, 10 watts, 11 liters, 1 Newton slasher, equals 45. 45 field first, 10, 1 watt, 9 liters, equals 1000. 38 bat first, 17, 9 watts, 8 liters, equals 52. 94 field first, 12, 6 watts, 5 liters, equals 5000.